Everything's normally bigger in the Lone Star States, and nothing could be further from the truth when it comes to the track that you see before your very eyes. Circuit of the Americas, which has been around since late October 2012. A purpose-built circuit mainly used for Formula One, but has stretched its reach and breadth to very, very many different categories, not just including Formula One, but also two and four-wheeled racing action. And it does set a fantastic and wonderful backdrop for the fourth round out of six for the driving club at Road Atlanta Winter iRacing Series. Hello everyone, welcome along to the Global SimRacing Channel as you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Michael Johnson for tonight's adventure. Daniel Costello is our director behind the scenes, and he is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Once again, we head back into GT3 action for our fourth of six rounds. But what really is COTA all about? You'll find out now through our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Circuit of the Americas. The cliche of everything's bigger in Texas rings true for this track in the Lone Star State. Built specifically for Formula One, the number of corners, circuit length, safety features, and general track amenities immediately set this place apart from almost every racing course in the United States. Of the three layouts available, the most widely used is the Grand Prix circuit, which tops out at a whopping 20 turns along nearly 3.5 miles. Many of them have been modeled after well-known sections of European tracks such as Silverstone, Hockenheim, and Istanbul. But compared to those venues, this place still has lots of unique challenges. Turn 1 in particular features the largest elevation change from the lap and culminates in a blind and sharp hairpin. The penultimate corner is just as tough, with its off-camber apex and sudden drop forcing many to escape to the paved runoff on the outside. And though it was meant to lure F1, many other series have now raced here, ranging from IndyCar to WEC, IMSA, and even V8 supercars. Track days are also common, with the SCCA running all types of amateur events to allow up-and-coming drivers to feel what it's like to battle on the same tarmac as Vettel and Hamilton have. With this track, American race fans finally get to experience a purpose-built course made in the modern day. Texas went bigger and better, and in the process, raised the bar for their peers.
Well, this circuit opened back on the 21st of October 2012 by a man legendary known in motorsport, Mr. Mario Andretti, driving one of his old Lotus Formula One cars. The circuit measures just 3.427 miles, 5.515 kilometers, 20 turns, and Michael looks very much like a potential knife in that kind of configuration, but we just had a quick chat in the green room before we went live that this is now your effective de facto home circuit. Tell the folks what the drivers can expect for a bit of a challenge here at driving club at Road Atlanta.
Well, the big tricks here at this track are setting yourself up properly. One thing you'll note is turn 8. Now, if you do this track in real life, turn 8 is done one way. If you do it in the sim, it's a different way. So if you're used to being at this track in real life and you think it'll work the same way to do it here, I got a surprise for you. It doesn't. Another place that's really difficult, and you've got to actually get down into first gear in most of these cars, is when you come around turn 15. It is so tight. So just, it pulls you around, and then finally you can open it up, but you got to be careful going around the tower turn. Lots of fun, but it's very easy to slide off because the track loses its camber. It goes pretty flat on that short run up to turn 19. And again, like 1, 11, 12, and 20 are all tighter than everyone thinks they are, and you're going to get points for going over there. So if you get that maximum number of X's, you could end up with a drive-through.
Yes, especially barreling your way through the uphill incline going through into a very, very tight opening corner. And more to the point, well, there's been one person that we've been talking a lot about here in this series so far, Michael, Jamil Gummer, who once again at the 1 hour enduro back at Daytona just a week ago really showcased what he was all about. And once again, dropped it down towards the bottom of the order, and now has a 45-point advantage ahead of David Madden. Rafael Junior Torres has slipped to third in the standings, a further 8 points adrift, with Daniel Vincent, Jason Owens and Philip Crane rounding out the top 6. Owens and Crane level on 89 points behind Jamil Gummer apiece. Then we've got Seth Thomas, Andrew Martin, Adam Faust and Todd Westphaling rounding out the top 10 in the GT3 driver standings. And we'll be running in GT3s right the way through to the final 2 rounds of the series. It's round 4 of 6. We go back to the 2-race sprint format. 30 minutes. We'll see our drivers have a standard traditional grid ordered by qualifying, and then the top 10 are inverted for race 2. It's open setups and it's drive-throughs at 25x incident points. And a big thank you to the team at Dash for providing all the relevant bits and pieces, simulator builds and also setups, and also organising the league. But we are now into the final 3 3/4 minutes of qualifying. Once again, Michael, we have that familiar, wonderful cornucopia of GT3 soundtracks roaring around this nearly 3.5 mile circuit as we've got this wonderful heli shot here.
Yeah, I love this shot. I've actually been in a helicopter flying over COTA, almost this exact same view. It's quite dramatic to be up there, and even in the helicopter, you can hear these GT3 cars as they go roaring down that pit straight there. The pit straight, not the fastest part on the track, but still very fast, coming out of a very slow turn 20. And then you come up this hill right here. This does not look like it's very high. I got news for you. This hill is, if you're just trying to walk up this hill, it is a challenge. The cars coming up here get so much help from gravity. You're going to watch them brake super late going into that corner. They can get almost to that line right at the top of the pit exit there, and almost right there is where you can brake in these cars in the sim, and it's quite thrilling. I can tell you from personal experience, having done literally thousands of laps in anger, like in a race or practice or qualifying, that this track always brings a lot out of the drivers. It will teach you more about yourself than just about any other track in North America.
Well, once again, we've got the number 1 of Alan Carter in the Acura NSX, currently running 1.5 seconds behind the man who is currently running away with the... Alan. Code Brown, need to check your underwear after that one, my friend. Well, Jamil Gummer is running away with this qualifying session. He's taken pole position in every single race so far, as we see Daniel Vincent in the number 100 Ford Mustang GT3, that naturally aspirated V8 power plant. We're going to see a little bit of slipstreaming here today as well here, Michael, predominantly from the backstretch from turn 11 to turn 12, and then of course from turn 20, and then up the hill into T1. Those are going to be the 2 biggest overtaking opportunities. But then when we get into, say, turns 3 to 6, which echoes very much like Silverstone, as we see Marek Sterenberg go very, very sideways in the 296 and has yet to set a lap time. This could really make or break anyone's iRacing Winter League series hopes, couldn't it? You really need to be in the slipstream if you're going to do anything here. It is incredibly difficult to pass on much of this track. That being said, I have passed on every single corner on this track, and including Ben passed on almost every corner here. You might see some opportunities going up into 20. If somebody gets 19 wrong and the person chasing them just absolutely nails it, you see an opportunity going up into 20, you'll watch 2 wide going down the straight, and then you get up to turn 1, and, well, whoever's on the inside is probably going to take that. But other opportunities, like you said, coming up into 12, that's a big one. Even going down into 11, if somebody gets a little bit of wheel spin coming off of 9 through 10, that's another opportunity for somebody to make that pass going down into turn 11. But
then they're being chased, and the person they just passed now has their draft.
Yeah, so we're not that long away from getting into the first two 30-minute races. So here's the grid. Jamil Gummer and Aaron Carter line up on the front row, and a big margin there taken by Jamil Gummer in the number 12 car. 1.5 seconds between pole and second. Andrew Martin and Daniel Vincent ran at row 2, followed by Seth Thomas and David Madden, who occupied the third row. Adam Faust and Jason Owens round out row number 4, and completing the top 10, Todd Westfelling and Cameron Campbell. We then head over to page number 2 of the grid. Murat Sterenberg, the last driver to set a lap time ahead of Tyler Hoffman and Philip Crane, affectionately known on this series as Flip, rounds out the 13-strong grid. Now we will be running the two half-hour races for this round at COTA, and then next time out at Sebring, Road Atlanta being the series finale on February the 19th. We'll see us switch back to that 1-hour enduro format one more time. And what's more, I mean, it is the circuit that was famed in Formula One circles when a certain guy stood by the boom mic of a camera operator, just said that iconic noise. Meow. There we go.
I remember that well. That was awesome.
Oh, that was one of the highlights of that year when that first happened, and we were just like, people were like thinking, how did security let him get past? Was probably the first thought in a lot of people's mind. But the Porsche pace car is helping us settle into the 2x2 rolling start formation, and well, after a slight little affair at Daytona last time out by our series leader, Jamil Gummer is back from Weissach, and he's gone back to his trusty Acura NSX. And what's more, it's an Acura 1, 2, 3 at this track. And as we both know, Michael, at this circuit you need a car that has poise, that has acceleration, and also has that nigh on 50-50 weight distribution.
Well, I don't always agree with that 50-50 weight distribution thing. I know it sells well when you're trying to sell cars, but personally, I kind of want a little more weight to the rear. But that's because I'm trying to get this thing to hustle around the track as fast as I can. If I'm just cruising down the street, 50-50 is actually pretty good. But on the racetrack, personally, I like those mid-engine, rear-engine cars where that weight gets back. And even in that Mustang, I would bet you that it's probably just a little bit towards the back, maybe 49 front, 48 front, trying to get that weight towards the rear wheels.
Well, they come out of turn number 19 as the pace car pulls into pit road. We're set and ready for race 1, round 4. The driving club at Road Atlanta iRacing Winter League, here live on Global SimRacing Channel. And it's an Acura front row, pedal to the metal. We are green and underway, and a good start once again by Jamil Gummer. Alan Carter slots in behind as they head up the hill, as Daniel Vincent looks to have got through on Andrew Martin on the early goings. Up the hill they go, through the tight hairpin left-hander here at turn 1, and down the hill they go, building speed. But obviously one of the biggest things here when we get to turn 6, Michael, is that you've got to really slow the speed down quite significantly, because the steering inputs are a lot more significant. It's 20 minutes for the first race, 25 minutes for the second race. My apologies, folks. Kind of forgot about that. But yeah, it's when you get to turn 6 that you've really got to sort of put the anchors on a little bit more in these cars.
Well, the thing is, when you come into turn 3, you're already going to lift and maybe just a touch of the brakes in these cars to go into turn 4. And then you kind of let the car scrub and scrub and scrub. And as you come around, I always say the gantry is your apex as you come through there. So you're watching for the gantry, watching, and your feet just do the right thing. So you bring the car around and you apex right where that gantry is. And it just slows the car down. So you're not necessarily slamming on the brakes as you come around there. It's just a gentle, gradual kind of reduction in speed. As we watch this, ooh, that's quite a group coming up there. Wow, they closed up under braking. I think everyone's trying to see just how deep they can go with that added speed from the draft they're pulling down the back straight there.
Yeah, it looks like Daniel Vincent has got a real good look of speed in the number 100. Oh, and that's a problem there for Seth Thomas, who's gone around. Oh, that's not what you want, the number 81. And, well, he managed to save it, and luckily enough did not really lose spots over it, but he lost a big old chunk of time. He did actually lose one spot, and that was to Andrew Martin in the number 7 Porsche. So they come around the final corner to complete the opening lap, and it is Jamil Gummer who has pulled away into the distance. He's got a lead of 1.3 seconds over the Mustang of Daniel Vincent, and it's Alan Carter, Andrew Martin, David Madden, and then about a couple of seconds back is Seth Thomas. But there's still early doors in this stage of the race here, Michael, that you can make a mistake like we just saw with Daniel Vincent, and there's a moment there for Andrew Martin, and he's just gone off the track and he's hit the barriers hard, no rear wing, and he's already hit the escape button, and well, what do you know, return to garage already. So one of the Acuras has fallen by the wayside, and one of the twistiest and most technical parts of keeping speed and momentum down to the absolute bare minimum it's gone completely wrong for him.
Yeah, that's one of the problems. So when you do have that weight towards the rear, like I like in a race car, it does make it a little bit of a pendulum effect back there, kind of enhances that, makes it a little more difficult. But if you can just find that balance, it is beautiful. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. Looks like we got Flip trying to make a late entry down the down into turn 11. But look at this fight back that we got here. This is exactly what I was talking about. So as Flip tries to make that run, looks like not Adam Faust, sorry, that's going to be Campbell coming up behind him. He may be able to make the repass as we come down into turn 12.
Yeah, sometimes that can be easier said than done. Cameron, who's one of the newest additions to this iRacing Winter League, he's one of the good things that we always appreciate about drivers like Cameron Campbell is that they keep on going, even though if they have a little bit of a spin around, as there has been a spin around, and that's the 81. Sean Thomas has he nearly got T-boned there big time at that point in the circuit, which would have been, I think, turn 11, but that was, well, it might have been turn 12, but to be honest,
that's not his favorite part of the course, isn't it? That,
no,
lap in a row, he's spun there, right?
Oh, Cameron's lost it coming in.
Oh, and we got another one. That was Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, Cameron having a bit of a drama. We were like thinking, hang on, are you going down pit road? No, I'm just having a little bit of a moment coming out of turn number 19. Meantime, Adam Faust in Rack C has just put in the fastest lap of the race, and another moment there, that is Todd Westfelling, who's lost his front bumper. Oh, we've not even hit 2 laps, and we've had Thomas go around, we've had Vincent go around, we've had Campbell, now we've had Westfelling, and Westfelling's lost his front bumper, Martin's lost his rear wing. Just goes to show they do like it, you know, things are bigger in Texas, especially this track, but with bigger tracks come bigger spins, Michael, don't they?
Indeed they do, and it looks like it's leaning more towards these Porsches with that big old motor in the back end of it. But we did have Seth go around twice in that Mustang, so maybe it's not so much the motor as it is just a slippery track. Track right now, I think, is running up around 113 Fahrenheit, so that's going to be about 48, 46 on new money. I got to do my math on that one to get it exact.
It's close to 50 degrees Celsius on that front, but here we are on board with Jason Owens, the sole McLaren driver, keeping Woking's hopes alive, and he's being chased down by Flip in the number 5 296 GT3. Nice tight apex there. Now buries the throttle once again. Flip looking for the opportunity as well. You've then got Jason trying to get round on Adam Faust, and Flip just neatly dives up the inside there, as if to say thank you very much for opening the door. Goes through tight on the apex, and now is there going to be another position gained by Flip? Possibly not, because they're going into a very, very fast momentum carrying set of corners through 16, 17 and 18. Sterenberg's had a bit of a code brown as well. So it's not just the Porsches, it's the Mustangs and the Ferraris, but the Acuras, well, apart from Andrew Martin seem to be out of trouble at the moment. David Madden in the Porsche sets a new fastest lap of the race, 2 minute 10.005, as he's trying to chase down Alan Carter in the number 1 Acura NSX. And then there is Daniel Vincent still holding on to that second position, but Jamil Gummer, like we've seen all series long so far, Michael, has started pulling away.
Indeed he has. He's really got the feel for this track, as he seems to have for most tracks. Here we are on board right now, though, with David Madden. David coming up here. He is currently in 4th, looking at that last spot on the podium. Alan Carter in the 1 car in front of him. Not that far away. This is an interesting bit of track. Can he handle it right here? That is one spot right there coming out of turn 9, where a lot of people pick up the incident points. In real life, we go out there and we clobber that little bit of curving, but look at that beautiful apex from Madden, and now he puts the hammer down, sitting right in the slipstream here, trying to get up there as we watch also Flip maybe making another attempt on that. Nope, doesn't quite make it. Back here to David Madden, though. David is closing this up. It is tighter and tighter. He's under a 10th. Is he going to make the dive to the inside as we come up to turn 12? No, he's going to hold on. I think he realizes it's probably going to be a little bit better for him to sit here. Maybe try again when he heads down that front straight, down the pit straight, to see if he can make that happen. But he also doesn't want to upset the balance too much. He's still got a little under 12 minutes in this race, so he needs to get around. And oh, looks like you've got to slow down there for Adam Faust.
Yep, so Rexy's lost a few places. That's 2 of them to Flip, and also Jason Owens in the number 11 McLaren 720S GT3, as they hustle their way through into the final few corners. So they'll be heading through into turns 16, 17 and 18. That'll be hard on the brakes for the left-hander at 19 and 90 left, but then you accelerate out of the corner. And this time, Adam Faust stops not to go barreling all the way 4 wheels off track, because Seth Thomas in the background in the 81 Mustang nearly does that, coming out of turn number 19 as a flash of headlights from Owens as he chases down Flip up the hill into T1, fast approaching half time on the counter. And Michael, looks like, I think Jamil Gummer's really opening up that gap now. I mean, what are his lap times looking at the moment? He must be running in the high 209s at the minute.
I've seen even into the 208s. I know he's got a 209, but for some reason it seems like his laps are not getting recorded in our system. But if I look into the system here directly on iRacing, his best lap time was the opening lap at a 207. So he really put the hammer down to open up there. But remember, that counts from a different point. That counts from that second line to the first line. So then after that, he's running 208.5, 208.2, 209.1. So maybe a little bit of an off track on that last one, or just trying to save his tires possibly. But he is absolutely blistering out there.
Madden, though, however, gets the up and over, possibly on Carter for P3. That was going into turn 13 and 14. He had a good run coming out of turn number 12. He switched to the outside and tried the old over-under trick. And we got on board with the number 9 car. What a wonderful little onboard this is, right by the A-pillar on the main, well, the driver's side of the vehicle. Right by the A-pillar, you can see the bare body in white inside of the car. And then they're coming through in towards turn number 20 once again. But Jamil Gummer's got that Acura NSX number 12 very much on form at the minute. And yeah, probably like you say, every single lap that he's done hasn't registered as the fastest lap, because at least at one point he's exceeded track limits. And I hate to think when he might hit that 25x incident point, because then that means that gives you an instant drive-through penalty on your next tour around the circuit, as through into turns 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 go Madden and Carter. The entry point at about 130 miles an hour, now at about 100 miles an hour as we head towards turn 6 and 7. Just nice and neat and tidy. You can see that a little bit more frantic from COTA, but Madden seems to be a little bit more switched on with the smoothness and the, you know, on both the steering, brake and throttle modulation in comparison with the Acura, whereas COTA looks like he's stolen that car and he's driving it like he stole it.
Yeah, I noticed there as they went into turn 11 though, Carter, he exhibited a classic mistake that we see here. So this track, as you get to several of the turns, turn 1, turn 11, turn 12, opens up, it widens to the inside, and people tend to follow that inside line because they're looking at the apex, which they should be doing. As we got a little bit of a look-see there from David Madden, but that track, it opens up, it gets wider, it gets a good I don't know the exact measurement, so I don't want to say, but it is definitely wider, at least a car width wider, and people tend to bleed towards the inside there, which affects their lap time. If you notice, David Madden stayed on the outside, and he was right up the tailpipe of that number 1 car from Alan Carter as he was closing up there. And once again, we're going to watch him coming around here through the tower turn, coming up to turn 19, takes that wide arc around there, gets his nose back around the other way, and tries to come through there. There's a little trick he could do there to try to close that up, but he didn't really need to, because look how close he is here. Now he's got a great opportunity, if he can get that power down getting up into turn 1, to try to get the nose over and make that pass. But it's going to be tough for him to make that pass the way Alan Carter keeps doing that just right there, just as we saw how he bleeds over to the inside.
With that, Aaron Carter has just set the official fastest lap of the race, as we've got 6 minutes and 40 to go, and Madden still chasing the Acura down, and the Acura's got its headlights ablaze on the front of the number 1. Daniel Vincent, who started on the outside of the second row on the 4th spot, holding on to P2, but is about 9.5 seconds behind Jamil Gummer, who has literally he's driven away from this race like he's been involved in a crime scene of some kind. But he's done a fantastic job so far this series and continues to do so. David Madden deep on the brakes, looks for the switchback. Is he going to get the run on the car in front of him? Not quite, but he now slots in behind Carter. Now gets the slipstream, the full benefit of it. Now he's going to pull to the left-hand side of the Acura, and it's going to be into the braking zone. Who's going to be the bravest of the brave on the middle pedal? Well, Carter's going to keep it pinned to the outside, but Madden dives to the apex, takes a little whack of it with the left front wheel, and this time, once again, Carter seems to have Madden's number, but through turns 13 and 14, they're wheel to wheel. It's a left-hander coming up very shortly at turn 15. Madden once again tries to sweep around, and he gets through this time, but it's a right-hander. Madden's going to keep it pinned to the outside. That's a great move, great exchange there for third. Madden gets through on Carter. The Porsche up to P3.
I think somebody there had been watching some of my race replays from here, because I've done that exact exchange from turn 11 all the way around to there. I'm not kidding. Exactly the same thing with the switchbacks, the going wide, the braking late, braking early. That was absolute textbook. Beautifully done.
Well, let's have a look at the GSRC replay. And this is Todd Westfelling. No front bumper on that car. And he's whacked the sausage curb. The car's gone airborne. And what happens next? He loses the back end. It's not been a good run today so far for the number 10 Porsche. Front end has been rearranged. No bumper on it to speak of. The hood's a bit of a mess. The fenders could do with a bit of hammer banging to realign the panel gaps. But now we go back to the battle for 7th and 8th between Seth Thomas and Adam Faust. Adam proudly sticking to Rexy, and good to see that he's get with that car. Seth Thomas, we saw, was in the fight at Daytona, and obviously it didn't work out the way that he wanted, but he's using a little bit more of the curbing in comparison with Adam Faust. And there's Jamil Gummer, picture-in-picture, top right-hand corner of your screens, folks. Now has a lead of nearly 11.5, just over 11.5 seconds. We've got 3.5 minutes plus a little bit of change to go, And Jamil Gummer is looking rather good at the minute to continue that 100% winning streak so far. As a little bit deep there. That was going into turn number 19 by Adam well, that's actually turn 11 by Adam Faust, and Seth Thomas in the naturally aspirated V8 Mustang is hot on his rear diffuser. And Thomas is going to dive to the inside. Of course, all these cars running not on fixed but open setups, and well, Faust keeps it pinned round the outside, buries the throttle. The rear wheel drive, rear engine Porsche has the legs through the corners on the twisty stuff in comparison with the Mustang, and Seth Thomas is going to have to do that work all over again.
Yeah, that was a nice bit of work there by the Rexy driver in the 911. He was able to see where that opponent was coming up. Seth Thomas was in the draft, was making up that gain, and well, he realized he was going to make that inside dash on the corner, and all he had to do was hold that position on the outside. Worked out for him. So good job from the number 4 there. That's Adam Faust. His car's doing much better than the actual Rexy, the real life Rexy. If you recall at Daytona, there was a bit of dental work that went on. Rexy had no teeth at the end of that race.
Yeah, needed a few fillings and maybe a couple of veneers stuck in there for good measure. But we are pretty much down onto this plus one more lap to go. It was about 12 seconds ago. Jamil Gummer crossed the line with about 2 minutes and 6 to go, so we could be on the final lap. Oh, Seth Thomas gets a little wrong, whops the sausage curb. Well, and one of the things
that's going to be a slowdown there too, I think. Yeah. Oh no, was that that may have been a DQ?
I don't think it was. I think it may have just been this internet. Might have just been the internet issue there, because the car literally just disappeared from our screens. Meantime, the battle for P2 might not be quite over yet, because David Madden has been calmly getting on with things at hand. He's dropped Alan Carter like a bad habit, and now he's closing in on Daniel Vincent, who has been holding the pride of Dearborn, the flag of Dearborn very high, and their pride notwithstanding, with 1.5 seconds between the pair. So good showing between these two. But oh dear, and that was Jason Owens, the number 11 in the McLaren, and Seth Thomas decides to go off track to avoid and might get a slowdown penalty very shortly. But we're coming into the final 40 seconds of this race. Jamil Gummer's done everything right in the playbook once again, and now goes on to the final lap and goes very wide into T1 to rotate the car around onto the apex. Now puts the power down on the Acura NSX GT3 through turn 2 into 3. Now it's going to be into this very quick part of the circuit here at turns 3 to 6, before then getting the speed down from about 105 miles an hour to about 75 miles an hour. And more to the point, well, Jamil Gummer, once again, when you put him on pole position, he doesn't really put a foot wrong. It's only when we get to the reverse grid races that he has quite a few dramas in reverse grid races, and of course we'll have the 25-minute inverse top 10 race 2 coming up after this one. But Gummer's not really left anything to chance here, Michael. Hasn't put a foot wrong at all.
Indeed, he's about 13.5 seconds out front right now. He's just doing, once again, a masterclass. It doesn't matter where he starts in the field. He just works his way through, or if he's at the front, he just goes and has his own drive. Now, going back a little bit, we see that looks like the Daniel and David, they are closing this up pretty hard. Jamil Gummer looks pretty solid for the win right now, but I think for P2 and P3, it could still be a little bit in contention.
Yeah, very much the case, but Jamil Gummer is doing exactly everything right, and is just getting on with things at hand. So just a handful of corners to go for the number 12 Acura NSX. There is David Madden, and he's within striking distance. He's about 8 and a bit tenths of a second behind number 100 of Daniel Vincent. But out of the final corner, the 100% success rate continues. Jamil Gummer in the number 12 Acura NSX powers towards the line, and now will take the checkered. After the opening race, Daniel Vincent is being closed in by David Madden. And Madden, bit of a wiggle there from Vincent coming out of the final corner. It is going to be the run to the line, but Vincent is going to have the legs on Madden. Is he? Oh no, Vincent got a slow down. But I think Vincent still got P2.
Yeah, the checker's at the first line there. It's not that second line. The second line is the start. The first line is the finish on that one. So right there where we see that car flip driving across, that's going to be the finish. So everybody still races because, I mean, we're racers. So we all race to that second line. But it looks like it held on for Vincent there with David Madden pulling in that third place, about 3/4 of a second behind.
Aaron Campbell looks to secure one of his best results of the iRacing Winter League here at Driving Club at Road Atlanta. He crosses the line in 9th. We're waiting for Todd Westphaling. Yeah, that's not going to buff out. That's going to. We'd say in the UK, yeah, that needs a bit of spit and polish, and that'll buff out nice, mate. That'll buff out nice. But Todd Westphaling still is going to bring it across the line in 10th place, a little bit further back. And then of course Marit Sterenberg, and then also Andrew Martin will be finishing at the tail end of the order. Sterenberg in 12th, Martin in 11th, but Todd Westphaling now comes through into the final left-hander here at turn number 20, and will take the checkered. But yeah, Martin next up. Well, Sterenberg is nearly is over a lap off of the race winner. But, well, once again, Jamil Gummer here, Michael, takes top honours in what was a flawless performance by the man who switched to Porsche for the Daytona Road Course. Now goes back to his faithful Acura and picks up the opening victory here of the night by 15.2 seconds. David Madden in 3rd. Alan Carter, Flip, Adam Faust, Seth Thomas, Jason Owens, Cameron Campbell finishing a well-deserved 9th place despite an early code brown in the race. Todd Westphaling in 10th. And then rounding out the order, Andrew Martin, Marat Sterenberg, Tyler Hoffman did not make it to the grid and did not compete in any one of the 11 laps of the Circuit of the Americas facility. But more to the point, that means that Todd Westphaling is on our reverse grid top 10 pole position for race 2 coming up shortly.
And I think the team should be able to get the nose back on that car. He will have a front bumper cover for that race, at least for the start of it. I don't know what's going to happen during the race. You lose it in one, there's a reasonable chance to lose it again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes,
yeah, if we take a look here, looking over the track, so that's the tunnel 1 right there that we're seeing that goes up underneath turn 1. Tunnel 1 is where most of the time the pro teams will drive in through there to get to the paddock area. If you're in the going through tunnel 2, that's usually where, if you have an infield pass or something like that, where you come in and you have the ability to park back over that way. And that's the other entry to this track. Love this place. I've been there since it was dirt. I have pictures of me at turn 11, where it's still dirt. There's nothing out on the track yet. Absolutely nothing there. There's no pavement, no curbing, no grass, no nothing. They were just kind of still making the base, the foundation that is underneath all the pavement we see here as Seth Thomas works his way through the S's. There's a lot more pavement there now than there was when I took that picture. That was back, I think, in 2011 or 2012 when the track was still being built.
Yeah, it took a couple of years for this facility, or from when they broke ground. I think it was either mid to late 2010, and then I think there were even some issues or something, and apparently Bernie Eccleston was involved for some strange reason. But I think
yeah, something like that.
yeah, but I think one of the cool things is that you have one of the most respected men in motorsport, Mario Andretti, being there for the opening day and roaring around in one of his old Lotus F1 cars to help open the circuit. I mean, you couldn't think of anyone better to pound the first couple of laps around that freshly laid tarmac with the bitumen still coming out of the top of the, of that freshly laid surface, than that man who still to this day does passenger rides in Indy cars in the 2 and the 3 seaters. Like the man he's like the Pied Piper of motorsports. I mean, it doesn't matter how old he is, he still has the youthful exuberance of someone who's in their late 20s, early 30s, and still very much feels like they're in the prime of their racing career.
And the way he drives, you would think he could probably go sit in any F1 car and be easily mid-pack, if not farther up to the front. He is absolutely amazing. I've done lead follow with him, and where we had other people out there, so we were doing a lead follow with people in our cars, taking them on thrill rides. And well, some people got Mario Andretti, other people, sorry, you got me. But I'm not quite as famous, but I do know this track really well. And I can tell you, Mario can still handle a car like a pro. He has not lost anything off of what he was, and I think he keeps getting better somehow. I'm not quite sure how, but man, he is so good, especially at this track.
Yeah. Let's make the comparison with Mario Andretti being like a fine Italian red wine, just with age just gets better and better and better. Coming to the final minute and a half of the warm-up stage, and I think Cameron Campbell is going to get a very, very big wake-up call on the run down to T1, folks. So it is a case of, top 10 inverts. It's not a new thing that's been done in sim racing. The same could also be said with randomized grid draws for go-karting over in the United Kingdom, for instance, and it just adds that little bit of spice to the mix. And yeah, I think Cameron's going to be trying to hold on for dear life going through turns 2 into 6, and I think West Felling, who's going to be on pole, so it's going to be an all Porsche front row rather than an all Acura front row like we saw after qualifying, Michael. But West Felling with new bumper and the hood and the front fenders all in nicely aligned with panel gaps as they should be. Seth Thomas is I don't know what he's trying to do. I was going to say, was he trying to do a J-turn there?
That was counter race. That's normally frowned upon. I'm surprised he didn't get a black flag for that. But with only 8 seconds left, 7 coming down here in the last couple of minutes of warm up, well, I don't think it'll matter too much as we keep our eye on Jason Owens and the end of the session.
Well, one more race to go before we have the driving club at Road Atlanta going back into action. And it'll be round 5 at Sebring next week, so you'll be able to catch the action here on the Global SimRacing Channel for the final 2 race evenings. And here's the starting grid. Well, it should be, from what I remember, it will be Todd Westfelling on pole, Cameron Campbell alongside, then Jason Owens and Seth Thomas, Adam Faust, Flip, then it'll be Alan Carter, then I think it is, who is it? It'll be David Madden, Daniel Vincent and Jamil Gummer. Then we'll have at the back end of the field, it will be Andrew Martin and Murat Sterenberg. Whether Tyler Hoffman ends up on the grid is anyone's guess, whether he's been able to make the session or not. But it'll be a 25-minute race here at Circuit of the Americas. Jamil Gummer, Michael, as I said, has been the tour de force. Could it be the case that we do have an opportunity that someone breaks that winning streak? But Jamil Gummer, with the pace that he's shown so far, has been relatively untouchable, hasn't he?
Indeed, he has. Doesn't matter what car he's in either. I think he was in Porsche, and then he's been in this, and the Acura. So I think he chooses the car that suits him for the track. But honestly, with as fast as he is, I think he could probably go out there on a bicycle and just pull away from everyone. He's got some talent here. He's running really good lap times. I went out and did some warm-up laps just with a fixed setup. I just grabbed a Porsche. You can do what's called ghost driving. You can drive on the same track with them. So I went out and did a couple, and he's running the exact same lap time I was. And I think I could probably put some time in it and go a little bit faster, but he doesn't need to. He's far enough out front right now with his 11 seconds or so, or no, about 15 and a half that he won that last race by. As long as he doesn't get tangled up in these in this opening bit, I think he's going to be able to work his way through the field.
So it looks like we've had a full reverse grid this time, but it is now very shortly going to be the possibility that the pace car is going to peel into pit lane. There it goes, and now it's time for us to go pedal to the metal here at Circuit of the Americas. Rat Sterenberg has gone and jumped early, and across the line we're underway and green for what is going to be, well, it's now going to be 30 minutes, so it was 25 in previous double sprint race formats, but that was a bit close there. Sterenberg goes wide. Campbell's trying to go through on Owens into turns 1 and 2. Thomas just literally flies past Campbell as if the number 13 Porsche was standing still. Sterenberg and Owens going into battle. Sterenberg is going to get a slowdown penalty and a completely unsafe rejoin, so keeps out of the way. Owens through for second place. Thomas to the outside of Sterenberg, round the outside. And Sterenberg's off, hits the barrier with the left front. Oh dear. And that's going to be a trip to the pit lane for the number 2 car. Adam Faust now closing in on Cameron Campbell. Faust has got Flip, Vincent, Madden, Gummer, Carter, not too far behind. And Jamil Gummer currently up to 9th. Bit of a robust move there by Flip on Faust. And, well, this is not going to end well if they keep on rubbing paint at the moment here, Michael, because I can understand getting a bit robust on one manoeuvre, but if you go 3 wide, as that is what Jamil Gummer's trying to do at the moment, he's got a Mustang to the left, Porsche to the right, decides to keep out of harm's way, and Madden to his outside. It could have been very, very close indeed. A bit of a wiggle there from Gummer coming out of the corner at turn number 12 into 13 and 14. And Faust holds on in front of Madden. God, this has really gotten a bit feisty, and Faust, I'm not too sure if there was a little bit of our friend Mr. Netcode having a slight bit of fun between the 2 Porsches, whether Faust has lost it on his own. He did hit the AstroTurf coming out of turn 12.
I think the stewards may have a little bit of work after this race. After some of this, we've seen some contact. Normally, a little door-to-door, not that big of a problem. Nobody really minds that too much. But you force somebody off track, it gets to be a little less friendly, as we watch Jamil Gummer here trying to push his way up into 7th or into 6th place. Getting around that Mustang is a little bit harder than he thought it was going to be. Deep into the brakes, though, that Mustang cuts up the inside, almost gets up to where Flip is in that beautiful Ferrari. But look at that Acura. He is getting his nose in everywhere he can. Jamil Gummer trying to get this position back. I think taking a little bit of note that he still has about 27 minutes left in this race. So no need to push it too hard, Jamil. You're still way up. You went from 13th to 7th. I think you got a little bit of time. Just wait for that moment. I think his next moment, honestly, is going to come either going down into turn 11. So we're up in 8 right now, going through 9, puts the hammer down. Good movement out there towards the outside, pops it down. Is he going to get up to the inside here going into, I don't think he's quite got enough run on it, but defensive from Daniel Vincent here. But watch this. I think he's going to get caught up by the Porsche and the Acura, both behind him, 2 Porsches behind him. This is going to get tight. Going a defensive again. Daniel Vincent taking up that inside line. Is he going to hold on to it all the way down here as we watch our last race winner move towards that outside, trying to get another draft? Can he pass him from the outside? He's going to arc it around. Ooh, tries to put that Mustang up inside. Flip gets pushed to the outside. Jamil Gummer once again around the outside. Can he hold on to this? Oh, hammer down once again, held up by Flip though. Can he push Flip through to get this position back? Pushes around the outside. Oh, that's going to be a corner cut. I think that is an absolute slowdown that's going to happen right there.
This is giving me flashbacks of Jörg Bergmeister versus Kevin Magnussen at Laguna Seca in 2009 for American Le Mans when it was Corvette versus Porsche. I'm having nightmares just thinking about all of that.
He pulled a bit of a Zanardi there, didn't he?
He did. But yeah, I mean, that was just incredibly close. I cannot believe what we are seeing. This second race has really come alive. Jamil Gummer started from the back end of the field, now currently runs a genuine P5. He's closing in on Flip, dives to the inside and he catches the back of the rear wing in the process, and there's a hip check between the Mustang of Vincent and Flip in the Ferrari, who's got Madden around the outside of him at turn 3. Well, let's just say that, well, rubbing's racing, but this race has become more than just elbows out. It's gone elbows out, get your Stanley razor blades sharpened, and here we go.
Yeah, rubbing is racing, but T-bone is a steak. That doesn't belong here. So, ooh, a lot of curve on that. That might get the ire of iRacing on that one. Takes up the inside, going through 10. This is a good run for the Porsche. Ooh, David Madden, is he able to make this? Look at that run. That is quite rushing down there as David Madden and Daniel Vincent. They were really going at it last race too. So this is just carrying over into this race as it looks like he's going to choose that inside line. Flip wants a little bit of this too. But meanwhile, Vincent is trying to hold on to that center of the track again. Didn't work for him so well when Jamil Gummer, who is now up into a podium position in P3, did this on the previous lap.
I've got 2 words that sum up this race. As there's been contact between the Ferrari and the Mustang, and that is now Vincent around, well, assisted by Flip, and now Carter's back up to 8th place. He's got through on Campbell. But the 2 words that sum up this race, I think you might agree with this, Michael, Mamma Mia is all I'm saying about that one, because like literally we have had everyone with handbags at dawn. It's a bit like a problem at the Kardashians' house, that everyone's deciding to go for the same bit of real estate. But in the meantime, Seth Thomas has gotten on with the business at hand. He's closing in on Andrew Martin in the number 7 Acura, who is leading as they head into up the top of the hill for T1, and Thomas finds himself being the Mustang meat in an Acura sandwich at the moment, because Gummer is very much closing in with 23 minutes still to go on the timer. Gummer's now a further 2.4 seconds behind Thomas, and we saw how calm and composed he was in race 1. Looks like the same strategy has been employed here in race 2 as Carter versus Flip into the opening few corners just makes it work so well. But of course, Flip wrestling with a little bit of damage on that Ferrari 296. You can see it's overshooting a little bit into the corners. Maybe some significant unwanted and unrequired understeer at the front end of that Ferrari. Yeah, he's finding it difficult to turn it in the corners. I think there might be something that might have been broken in a couple of those exchanges.
Yeah, I think he's probably got some suspension damage on this one for sure. He's having trouble getting that car turned. He can get it slowed down, he can get it off the corner, but man, trying to get it turned is tough. As we watch, this is going to be David Madden coming up here in the number 9 Porsche. Gets on the brakes, coming up into the braking zone right about now. Just in front, holds on a little bit defensive. David Madden going into P4 ahead of Jason Owens in that McLaren, I believe it is. Meanwhile, back to Jamil Gummer, holding on to 3rd position. Gummer currently is about 2.2 seconds off the lead. He is closed up to about 0.8 off of Seth Thomas. He is going to make this a race. I can't wait to see this race between Gummer and Thomas as they either work together or fight against each other. I think Andrew Martin, though, is really hoping these two are going to fight like dogs.
Yeah, considering the fact over the last couple of laps, Gap was at 1.2.5 seconds. It's now less than half a second as we run on board with the number 12 Acura of Jamil Gummer as we go up the hill once again. It's coming up to the third of the timer. The ticker counting down from 30 minutes to 0, and coming out of turn 1, Gummer swarming all over the rear wing of Thomas as they go through into 2. It's going to be a short blast up here to 3, now into 4, into 5, and Gummer not finding a way past, through into the complex here at 6, 7, 8 and 9. And it's a short blast up to the slight left-hand kink. Jamil Gummer trying every trick in the NFL playbook here, but it's not quite working. Now down the hill they go, whacking the curb on the inside on the run down into turn 11 before we hit the backstretch. And well, I have to say, Seth Thomas has done a really good job defending from Jamil Gummer so far, but now the slipstream is going to come into effect up to 4th gear, building the revs.
I think Gummer's probably going to get it here. Although the Mustang has got some legs. We've said this every single race. These Mustangs really do make some power and are able to put it down, but he goes a little bit too deep into turn 12. Looks like Gummer is able to get around him just by a little bit of pressure, made him brake too late. So Gummer now up to P2, taking an eye on P1. Andrew Martin up there, also in an Acura, wants to hold on to that position. He's been there since about lap 1, I believe. About halfway through lap 1, he was able to get up into that top position. Hopes he can hold on to it, but I don't think Gummer's going to let that happen.
Meantime, we've got a good old ding-dong battle here for 5th backwards. Owens leading Carter, Faust, Flip, Campbell and Vincent. Sterenberg has been in the pits and has not returned to the racetrack, so we've still got 10 runners and riders remaining in this second out of 2 races. So 19 minutes on the timer still to go, and Jamil Gummer closing in on Martin for that race lead. The gap between the 7 and the 12 is coming down at a big old rate of knots as they'll be going in towards turns 6 and 7, probably pretty much as we speak. Carter dives to the inside of Owens at turn 1. The Acura hits the apex bang on the wheel, and then through into 2. Carter still trying to keep it around the outside of the McLaren. He's going to get the inside line for 3. They're still going to be pretty much wheel to wheel, and Carter gets the job done. Didn't he do that in the last race as well at the same point?
That is one of my favorite passes to make. Nobody thinks you're going to try to pass in the S's. They think they're safe. No, you can go too wide all the way through there. Absolutely. I've done it many times, not just in the sim, but in real life. It's a lot of fun running up inside there. As we watch here back up to Jamil Gummer, he has closed this gap down. Last time we talked about this, it was about 2.2 seconds. Well, he shaved 2 off of that, and it looks like he's going to try to make the pass going down here into the long stretch into turn 12. Nope. I think Martin's going to be able to hold on to this just for now. Coming down into 12. Out of 12, he does not really track out all the way. Still holds on to his position. But Jamil Gummer takes all of that track, gets up on the inside. Now we're coming in through 13 into 14. Looks like Jamil Gummer's going to take that super wide line around the outside, try to do the over-under, but no. Push to the outside, running up out of 15 into 16 into the triple turn that is known as tower turn. Holds onto the inside and just powers down. Looks like Jamil Gummer is finally up into P1 about halfway through this race. He's finally gotten there, but Andrew Martin, I think, still wants a piece of this. Is he going to be able to fight back and get up there? I don't know. I think he's going to have his hands full of Seth Thomas behind him.
Well, that depends if Martin actually decides not to go 4 wheels off track like we just saw through turn 19, trying to follow in the wheel tracks of Gummer. Vincent versus Owens. This is for P6 on the road, so Mustang against McLaren as they're going down the front stretch. And up the hill into turn number 1. And Vincent trying to keep Owens very, very honest. There's Rexy in the background. Faust is not too far behind them. And this is the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, because you've got Faust and you've got Campbell in the background there, and they're all in the same shot at the same point, with Flip bringing up the rear of the field. And Flip's just had a bit of a wobble and nearly rejoined in the path of Cameron Campbell, who luckily enough was able to keep out of the way of that one. But it just goes to show you overstep track limits, folks, your laps get disallowed, and if you hit 25 exits in points, that's a slam dunk straight penalty straight through the drive-through walk of shame as Daniel Vincent dives up the inside of Owens through at turn number 11. And is the Mustang going to get the inside line here into turn 12, wheel to wheel with Owens? So McLaren versus Mustang, naturally aspirated V8 versus twin turbo V8, and Vincent gets the move done. Good job there by the number 100, but the McLaren seems to be a little bit better planted coming out of the corner on corner exit acceleration. But then you hear that wonderful naturally aspirated V8 from the back end of this Mustang pull away at times, but then Owens closes up. More to the point, you can hear a little lift there from Vincent, not too significant, but significant enough to allow him to rotate it through the corners and still keep the number 11 McLaren of Mr. Owens at bay for the meantime.
Yeah, this race will be raging on for quite a bit. That McLaren holding on pretty well. I think he's going to be able to get a chance to get back at him. That was a really late dive there into turn 11 when we watched that pass start. It's a very long pass sequence that happens here. Both of these drivers, though, making that pinch up into turn 1. You really don't want to do that. As we watch going wide there, the Mustang takes that very, very wide, hoping he can maybe get some help from the stewards here and not have to serve a penalty. I don't know if they're trying to clear penalties, because it is pretty harsh here in the sim where these penalties come up. Like right there, that's another spot where you just get a penalty where you're really not off track. You're still on that red and white curbing. And when I was racing here in IMSA, I remember we went out and we did the qualifying, and we were very good. Nobody went past the white lines. Nobody did anything like that. But then we had the drivers meeting oddly after the qualifying, and the guys in charge of the race said, if it's paved, you can use it. Now, don't go over the inside, but on the exit of the corner, like right here as we watch them come out, all that area out there we were allowed to use. Interestingly enough, lap times did not change that much. We were pretty much the exact same lap times we were running. So it doesn't necessarily help or hurt to use that extra little bit of track out there. But right now, this is going to be Seth Thomas closing up that gap on Andrew Martin. Andrew, who was in the lead for the majority of the race up to this point, in P2, looking like he might fall to that Mustang and end up in P3.
Yeah, we've still got just under 13 minutes to go out of the 30. All bit of a run wide there from Martin, and also the same from Philip, who drops back down to 10th place behind Cameron Campbell. Jamil Gummer, new fastest lap of the race, so 2:09 .061 his lead over Andrew Martin in the number 7 car, has spanned to about 4.6 seconds as Campbell makes his way through the final corner, as does Flip. These two are about half a second plus change apart coming across the line. But Jamil Gummer, well, what can you say about the driver? I've pretty much decided not to throw any superlatives at him, just in case a faux pas happens, and then people say, oh well, someone, that is Seth Thomas, who was running P3 and was closing in on Martin. He's rearranged that front end. That's going to need more than a nose job and a chin lift to sort that one out, as he has ended up in pit row with a very battered front end on that Mustang GT3.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. He was doing a nice job working his way through the field, but man, every once in a while you catch something just wrong. I think he caught a little bit of the the sleeping policeman that sits there, and just as he was going into the S's, and that spun him around, did not do him any favors.
Yep. And a bit of panel banging. No, do not do that. Oh, God. Leaning on each other, and Vincent and Carter gets significant damage, and I think, Carter's just got him for seconds there. They were leaning on each other so badly, and then Carter just ends up in the wall, and then Vincent now just ends up now on being T-boned into, what was that, turn number 12, and then it was just like, yep, okay, you've shoved me, I'll shove you back. And if that was IRL, folks, I can tell you this, that, Carter's car has just had its own off track, and that car is damaged at the front. The back end's probably crabbing because it's loose, it's all over the shop. So, yeah, you're going to have a replay here. So this is what happened to Seth Thomas. He was closing in on Andrew Martin in the number 1 car. He just lost it all on his own.
Rear end got around a little bit too quick on him. That was unfortunate. I thought he might have hit that little blocker on the inside of the corner there. But you were saying before how there were 2 words that described it. You were saying "Mamma Mia." I think we got to change those 2 words to retaliatory strike. It looks like some people are just driving mad right now, and they gotta calm down. Cooler heads prevail through here, man. You gotta calm down. You'll get the place back. If you make them mad and you stay calm, you're going to get them back every time.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Alan Carter, if you want to use a game reference, use the words Counter-Strike. It sounds appropriate.
Well, that's only one word, because I think I think that was. I wanted to find 2 words. I thought Counter-Strike, but you know.
Well, you could stick a space in between the 2.
So hitting like the counter that you're preparing food on.
Yeah, hitting the counter. Well, or in his case, he decided to throw a strike and got it. Like a bowling alley. And unfortunately, Daniel Vincent was the set of 10 pins that was directly in front of him. And only unfortunately, it wasn't a set of 10 pins. It was a driver's side door panel that got T-boned as a direct correlation. But Cameron Campbell's doing really well in this race. He's now currently P6 with a very damaged Acura NSX. I mean, the hood's stoved in, the bumper's got a big old dent in the middle of it, the panels are out of alignment on the front of the car, and I think there might be a little bit of crabbing on that car, that number 1 Acura as well there. The back end's just so loose. It's for those, yeah, you can see it twitching. It's like, say, because the first time I ever came into understanding, let's say, NASCAR terminology, when the car's very, very sketchy at the back end, you call it loose. Whereas if it's sort of turning as you want it to, but it's a bit too stiff, you feel it's a bit tight. But Alan Carter's car is coming in now down into pit lane, and I'm thinking he's got a 25X, because that looks like a drive-through to me. Jason Owens has just lost it, and Cameron Campbell goes through for 5th place. So Cameron Campbell, despite all the dramas we've seen so far in the first few races, Cameron's really gotten himself a little bit more attuned to the nuances of a Porsche doing Porsche things here, Michael. He's really improved every single race we've seen him competing.
Indeed he has. Oh, but going around sideways, now that is not the fault of the McLaren on that one. The Porsche just lost the rear end. Jason Owens, nothing wrong there. Cameron Campbell let the rear end get around just a little bit too far. But meanwhile, Alan Carter looks like he is actually in the pits. He may be getting repairs on that car, or if he got a major penalty, which is also possible that he had a stop and hold for, I don't know, a minute. But I don't think iRacing gets that high. I think the largest I've seen anyone get is about maybe 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, it depends on whether race control has the privilege of overriding the default system, which does happen in a variety of different platforms. But yeah, Cameron's now being closed in on by Flip, who is only 1.3 seconds behind, but Cameron keeping Owens very, very honest indeed. Jamil Gummer, well, there's 6 minutes to go. He's just crossed the line again. And another new fastest lap, 2 minute 8.670. He's basically 11 thousandths. Well, it's 0.3 minus a few thousandths slower than his qualifying lap, which for race 1 was a 2:08.381. And Cameron Campbell still going at it again to try and close in on the McLaren 720S GT3 of Jason Owens. So once again, the battle for the final position in the top 5 is heating up, and Flip is definitely making sure that his presence is felt. So McLaren versus Porsche versus Ferrari as they go up the hill into turn 1 once again. And 5 minutes and a quarter to go. Jamil Gummer now leading by best part of 11.3 seconds. And Andrew Martin looks to try and possibly make it an accurate NSX GT3 1-2. But Flip closing in on Campbell through into the twisty stuff here in the opening corners. And Cameron just trying to keep the wide end of that 992 version of the 911 GT3. And Madden is also starting to close on Martin as well. So Madden, who's also shown really good prowess here tonight, Michael, could have a sniff at second very shortly.
Yeah, we were watching Madden in the last race. He was doing a nice job trying to close up in that red number 9 Porsche. He is closing up again. He is right on the tail of Martin in that Acura. He's looking to make a Porsche sandwich with some Acura bread. I think he has a chance to catch up there. Meanwhile, looks like Cameron Campbell trying to recover from his mistake earlier. Is he going to be able to make this pass on Flip? Flip closes the door on him, gets to the apex, puts the power down, comes out of the corner, and just opens it right back up. I think he's got a little bit better handle on the corner exit with that Ferrari than Cameron Campbell has in the Porsche. But here we are back to David Madden, currently P3 in the number 9 car. This is going to be going up to turn 1. He's closing this down every single lap. He's getting closer and closer. Notice how he keeps it to the outside there. We watch the car in front of Andrew Martin take that little bleed off to the inside. That's going to cost him time. Madden does not mind seeing that at all, because Madden is now going to be able to close this up even more. He's down to about 6-7 tenths or so off of him, just enough to get a little bit of a draft, but not so much that it's going to mess him up going through the S's here. Now closes it up even more, down to about half a second as we come up through turn 8, my favorite part of the course. I love 8, 9, and 10. Absolutely love turn 10, completely blind. You have to watch the Armco there on the left side to know where the track is going. But look at this. He has closed it up. He's about a quarter second off the tail. Closes up right behind him, under braking, as we watch Madden gets the apex. Meanwhile, Martin is just a bit off of it. Now they power down the back straight. Is Madden going to be able to make the pass coming up into turn 12?
That's a big $64,000 question that needs to be answered right now. Madden pulls the left-hand side of Martin into that turn 12, tied to apex, but Martin shuts the door very quickly indeed, keeps it round the outside. And that was pretty much textbook there from Martin, but Madden's still on the case of the number 7 car. Gap between them is about 3 and a bit tenths of a second as they head into the next complex here at turn number 15. And then it's going to be acceleration heaven coming through these next 3 right-handers. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. I think Madden has got an opportunity here, but we are getting very much close to the end of this race. Jamil Gummer has crossed the line, and it is the final lap. And Madden nearly got the run coming out of the final corner here on Martin. They're going to be nearly wheel to wheel going up the hill into turn 1. Porsche on the inside, Acura to the outside. On the brakes. turn it in nice and neatly. And, well, that was just a case of a fait accompli. Madden was just waiting for that opportunity and saw that happen pretty much on the outskirts of the outskirts of turns 2 and heading into 3. David Madden has done a pretty good job, but Jamil Gummer is not that far away from getting to 9.5 seconds advantage in this second race of this round of the season. But Jamil Gummer makes his way out of the corner, puts the power down in the number 12 Acura NSX GT3. It's down the backstretch once ago for the number 12. What can you say about this driver? He hasn't put a foot wrong tonight.
Yeah, Jamil Gummer came from the back because we had a reverse grid, remember? So he started in P13, has worked his way all the way through the grid, and is now 9 seconds out in front of the P2 car of David Madden in that Porsche. Meanwhile, behind Madden, it is a little give and take. He's made a couple of mistakes. Andrew Martin is able to hold on right on his tail, but Jamil Gummer, really the class of the class. He has just taken it from start to finish all the way through and pushed his way up to what looks very close now to be yet another win.
So once again, race 1 was in the bag for the number 12 of Jamil Gummer. It's going to be 2 for 2, and the streak continues onwards for the driver from Georgia. Very shortly we will have our next driver to come across the line, and it will be the number 9 car, the Porsche of David Madden, edging out Andrew Martin in the number 7 Acura across the line. They round out the top 3, and Adam Faust in good old Rexy now makes his way through into turn number 20 the last time. We are waiting for a few more of the drivers to get themselves in towards the dummy grid.
There we have just Jason Owens working his way towards the finish line, crossing over. P5 for Jason. Looks like Flip is going to come up behind him. And then Cameron Campbell and Seth Thomas are going to finish out our field here. Seth Thomas in P8. He's going to be the last car running. Everyone else has retired. Bringing that Porsche, that Mustang. I think I just got dagger eyes from a good number of fans of the Mustang. I love the Mustang. It sounds brilliant. It's a wonderful car. It's very difficult to see out the nose, though.
Indeed. Well, let's have a look at the provisional results from race number 2. And Jamil Gummer again continues that run of form, not winning by the biggest margin that we saw earlier on in race 1 this evening. David Madden finishes 10.431 seconds behind, with Andrew Martin completing the top 3 places. Adam Faust and Jason Owens round at the top 5. Had a Flip, Cameron T. Campbell, Seth Thomas, Alan Carter, and Daniel Vincent ends up classified 5 laps down off of the eventual race winner. And Murat Sterenberg, well, a little bit of hoi polloi, and the lime green Ferrari ended up in the barriers, curtailing his race at that point. But more to the point here, Michael, 2 great races, but it was like the cat had definitely been thrown amongst the proverbial driving club at Road Atlanta pigeons, hadn't they?
Yeah, just a bit. This was an interesting race. There was a lot of door-to-door here, a lot of people pushing up on the other cars, which I'm used to seeing in real-world racing. But when you're on the sim, there's so much room for interpretation by the simulator. Is it going to let you just lean on the door, or is it going to put a big old dent in the door? So I tend to shy away from that personally in the sim, but it did make for some entertaining times, didn't it?
Yeah, it did indeed. We actually have, looks like we've got someone standing by for an interview. Jason Owens joins us in the interview booth for the post-race show. Jason, welcome in, and good to have you with us.
I usually forget to come in here after the races, so I thought about it tonight.
A mixed bag for you this evening here at COTA, wasn't it?
Yeah, this isn't my favorite track, so I figured I'd try a different car tonight and just play around.
But I think it's always good to try something a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, we saw some really good battles. I think you finished P5 in that second race, but there was a lot of calamity. Everyone jockeying for position, yourself included, and there was a bit of paint swapping, a bit of rubbings racing, so to speak, wasn't there?
Yeah, I heard a lot of it behind me in that race too, and then saw a little bit in front of me, but there was a lot of chatter on our Discord group, so.
But out of the tracks so far, obviously you've just mentioned that COTA isn't one of your favourite tracks, but which one has really sort of complemented your driving style and the car choice the best so far?
Probably BIR. I mean, that's one of my favorite tracks in real life, so.
Well, good to see you're giving it a go, and as they do say, Jason, variety is the spice of life. Looking forward to Sebring next week for the penultimate round of the series.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. And I'm the owner of Dash Sim Sport, so I just want to thank the Driving Club for allowing me to be a sponsor of this Winter League.
Ah, yes. So now finally we get to speak to the man who's been helping set things up as well. And a big thank you to you for all the hard work that you do behind the scenes, Jason. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Just all my customers that are members that come out. I've got a lot of other customers that are members I've been trying to get to join us, but having Daniel and Murat and a couple others join us is good to see. So.
Brilliant. Jason, thanks for jumping in, and good to chat with you, and we'll see you next week for the penultimate round at Sebring.
Yep. Well, I think we got Sebring and then Road Atlanta. So.
Yes, indeed. We'll see you for both.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, big thank you to Jason Owens, the man behind Dash, who have been a big help in organising this particular iRacing Winter League. That's it for live coverage here on Global SimRacing Channel for round 4 out of 6. The next race coming up for this particular series will be next week in 7 days' time, where we head back to Florida and we head to Sebring International Raceway. It'll take place at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC or GMT, whichever you prefer. And there's also more action coming up here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. So next up, Saturday the 8th of February, it's round 1 of the Sim Racing Republic, and once again Daytona hits the bill. Then we go to Grand Prix Legends on the same day, 1:30 p.m. UTC, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. On Saturday the 8th of February, they head north of the border to Wee Bonnie, Scotland, to Knock Hill. Then it's the IMSA Vintage Series at 5 p.m. UTC, 12 p.m. Eastern, to Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Then PT Autosport returns at 5:45 p.m. UTC, 12:40 p.m. Eastern. Track yet to be decided. Big thank you to the team today here at GSRC. From myself to Michael, Daniel and Dougie. Make sure you check out our social media. Of course, our website is still in new development. Of course, we've got a brand new look here on GSRC. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a single second of the action. As always, race clean, race hard, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on GSRC. Goodbye for now.